And the protective order thing was interesting. I found in Tarrant County there's a federal grant. They get money for issuing protective orders. And 2 years ago, it was $100,000, and there's probably other grants. But there's a financial incentive for these judges to issue protective orders.
I've never heard this.
Yeah, I'll send you that. There's a Violence Against Women Act, which is federal.
Right.
And we have all the open record stuff. But when I say that, people are like, well, what about the real victims out there? I say, well, there's a criminal court system,
right,
and they can go to there. They can talk to the police instead of going to the judge,
right,
and they can go through the district attorney's office. And there's a way to do this. This needs to be separated from the family courts. There's too many lies. I'm not saying that there aren't legitimate reasons for protective orders,
right,
but the way it's being handed out like candy in the family courts, clearly it's not. It's irresponsible. This gentleman Chad hasn't seen his child in years because of the protective order. The mother's
right,
using that against him to keep dad away.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting that you would say that, especially the thing about the money, the $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
I went down to testify against the ease with which protective orders are dispensed, and I was told that, Mr. Morgan, you don't know what you're talking about, because Dave Phelan, the Speaker of the House, and I'm sure he's probably looking for money somehow, was saying that we need to make it easier for people to file protective orders.
Mr. Morgan, I'm going to repeat to you one more time. Your testimony has to be on topic with respect to the difficulty of obtaining and enforcing a protective order.
There's no difficulty right now.
Yes, sir, there is. We just heard from multiple witnesses.
Listen to Leslie Levy.
Protective orders are pretty easy. So if part of why you refer them to us is you just don't want to deal with them, they're actually pretty easy. They're actually pretty easy. They're actually pretty easy.
go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, she was teaching attorneys how to use protective orders to gain an advantage in divorce. And we already know that there are assistant district attorneys such as Leslie Levy.
I've seen this video.
Yeah, and I took the video.
Good job. I used it in a cover story. I quoted her.
I have done protective orders, just so that y'all are like, who is this woman and what does she know? I have done them for our office. Who here has handled a divorce? Oh, basically everyone. Who here has handled a divorce and filed a protective order as part of it? Okay, still mostly everyone. Love that. Who here has handled a divorce with family violence and referred the protective order to my office? All right. I'm going to tell y'all why you shouldn't do that. Not only because it's more work for me, but as part of a protective order, as it seems like most of y'all have enough basis to know that a protective order carries criminal consequences. Accordingly, that makes it a pretty heavy tool in negotiating a divorce. If it goes through my office, it's a lot harder to use it in negotiating a settlement to your divorce. So I would encourage you very strongly, if you have one of those cases, to do the protective order as part of your case. It gives you more leverage in negotiating a settlement. If you're like, well, that's great, I don't know what a protective order looks like, shoot us a message, we'll send you forms. We are willing to help, we're willing to kind of walk you through the process. But our attitude is, if you can do holistic representation for your client, it's better for the client, it's better outcomes in terms of negotiating a settlement, and I'm not gonna lie, it is, one fewer case for me. So win-win-win all around. Protective orders are pretty easy. So if part of why you refer them to us is you just don't want to deal with them, they're actually pretty easy. Real easy to prove up. So if you have one of these cases, and on those you don't have to prove likelihood of future harm. He can be sitting in jail for sexual assault for the next 10 years. And if you can prove up that it happened, and if he's in jail you probably can, well then you've got something that carries criminal consequences that you can use to get a protective order, or use as a bargaining chip in your divorce.
But it comes back to another issue here, and you kind of alluded to it already, the issue of perjury in family court. Perjury is rampant in family court. Happens every single day. I don't know that you can say every single hearing or whatever.
It's encouraged. It's not only allowed, it's condoned and encouraged.
So if we actually had some teeth behind perjury laws and actually started to say, you know what, you've committed perjury and here's the punishment, I think that maybe we would start to see some of this stuff get rolled back. What are your thoughts?
I say this often. Perjury fuels the family court system. If it weren't for perjury, they would have, people changing their last names. They would have the occasional, divorce, but it'd be about 10% of the industry that it is right now. So that's why they not only condone it, they encourage it. I mean, I've been on as a father, I've listened to my exes just make up the most horrible, evil things that are false allegations. It's affected my life. It's affected a lot of dads' lives. It's affected a lot of women's lives. Yeah. And there was never any cost for that.
Right.
You know?
So I had to spend $20,000 to protect myself against a protective order. And my ex-wife was up there. She committed perjury. There were other things that took place that were just absolutely incredible. I had a couple of people that were in there. My wife had to be in there because she was part of the witness of the whole thing and one of her friends. And she was just aghast at the stuff that was taking place. I had to pay $20,000. I was found innocent of everything, both the criminal and the civil complaints against me, because I didn't do it. But I had to pay the $20,000 to defend myself.
Chair recognizes Jeffrey Morgan.
My name is Jeffrey Morgan. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I drove down here today, several hours, a couple hundred miles. I thought this was a very important issue to talk about, but I'm not going to actually be saying the same thing that you've been hearing. I want to talk about the other side of it. What about perjury with protective orders? On October the 26th, 2018, family justice attorney Leslie Levy gave a continuing legal education class in Williamson County Court. Representative Tallarico, I think that's where you represent, right? And she was teaching attorneys, family law attorneys, how to use protective orders to gain an advantage in divorce. She was telling them that don't file them criminally. Here's the way you do it because this gives you a better tool for negotiation. And the family law attorneys were laughing and chuckling. What you're saying is you want to reduce the obstacles. I want to make sure that we have accurate testimony. And I think if you reduce the obstacles to the place where anybody can submit anything and a protective order gets used as a weapon, such as Assistant District Attorney Leslie Levy advocated doing in a continuing legal education class, that is a problem. There needs to be some obstacles to make sure that what is being submitted is accurate.
Mr. Morgan, the charge is examining obstacles to the reporting of domestic violence.
Right. I would say the accurate reporting, not fake reporting.
Mr. Morgan, I'm going to repeat one more time. If your testimony is not on this issue, then we're going to have to close testimony. So the interim charge is examining obstacles to the reporting of domestic violence and how these obstacles contribute to the difficulty in obtaining and enforcing a protective order. It sounds like your testimony is the opposite.
What I am saying is that, yes,
order.
Because it said you could be neutral on the topic. It did not say for or against, and I am addressing the topic.
We need testimony about examining obstacles, I'm going to repeat one more time, to the reporting of domestic violence and how they contribute to the difficulty in obtaining and enforcing.
If we talk about making protective orders easier, that we also make it easier to prosecute perjury, which does not happen. And I think we all know that. I want legitimate protective orders filed. Legitimate. But as Leslie Levy said, you can use these orders to gain an advantage negotiating. And all I can tell you is that the way that we have it right now, when you make protective orders so easy that they're immediately believed and not challenged, and I, on the other hand, have to spend $20,000 to defend myself. And I was one of the lucky ones, because I actually had a judge that listened to the testimony and wanted to write against me because, let's just hand out another protective order. Hey, yeah, rah, rah. We're going to get another protective order going. And once she saw the evidence, she saw that it was completely fabricated. Was there any repercussions for perjury? No. The underlying assumption seems to be that we need to protect every woman from every evil man, the Duluth model.
Mr. Morgan.
But we forgot the Amber Heard situation.
Mr. Morgan, I'm going
Yes.
to repeat to you one more time. Your testimony has to be on topic with respect to the difficulty of obtaining and enforcing a protective order.
There's no difficulty right now.
Yes, sir, there is. We just heard from multiple witnesses.
Listen to Leslie Levy.
If there's nothing else, we
Wait a minute.
appreciate it.
Let me just
Have
go
your
ahead.
testimony.
Can I play Leslie Levy's
No,
video for
sir.
you?
Thank you.
I just think that what you're looking at right here, you are
We're
making it
looking at
easier
an
for
in-
people to
Okay, I'm
lie.
gonna cut you off.
Absolutely, go ahead.
This is